At least 16 people are injured, 10 of them shot at a subway station during the morning rush. 5 are said to be in critical but stable condition in local hospitals.
That's right. Police are looking for the suspect, a black man they say was seen in a gas mask and a green construction-type vest and a gray hooded sweatshirt. Reports say the suspect tossed some sort of smoke canister into the train car and then opened fire. Police say there are no active explosive devices at the scene.
Authorities were called to the 36th Street subway station responding to reports of smoke, and they discovered several people shot. New York Governor Kathy Hochul spoke about the devastation during a press conference earlier today.
This morning, ordinary New Yorkers woke up in anticipation of a relatively normal day. They left their homes en route to school, en route to their jobs, and to a normal day, as I mentioned. That sense of tranquility and normalness was disrupted, brutally disrupted, by an individual so cold-hearted and depraved of heart that they had no caring about the individuals that they assaulted as they simply went about their daily lives. This individual is still on the loose.
And joining us now is CBS News correspondent Mola Lenghi, who is at the scene. Mola, what more do we know about the suspect police are still hunting for, and what role do we expect the cameras around the city might play in finding him?
Well, yeah, as you mentioned, suspect still at large at this point. We heard during the press conference that he was, when he carried out the shooting, was wearing a green sort of neon vest, seemingly to try to impersonate a city worker or an MTA transportation worker. Had a gas mask on when he carried out the shooting from the subway platform. So that indicates that this was planned and not a sort of spontaneous event. Law enforcement tells CBS News that this does appear to have been a planned attack, but no motive at this point. Obviously, they don't have a suspect at this point, so certainly hard to have a motive without that suspect. But if it was indeed a planned attack, it's unclear at this point if it was terrorism, if it was just a lone wolf, a criminal attack. The police chief said just a few moments ago that they are not ruling anything out, but right now their number one priority is to try to find this suspect. As you mentioned, they will try to use everything from witness accounts to the vast network of cameras throughout the city, from the municipal cameras, the subway system cameras, the cameras on pretty much every street corner in New York City these days. They'll also piece together some cameras of the neighborhood businesses around here. So really anything that they could use, anything that they can access at their disposal, they will certainly put to use as they try to piece this thing together and ultimately try to find this suspect, who again is still on the loose at this point.
Mola, what do we know about those who were shot and injured? We heard the governor say people are in the hospital fighting for their lives right now. Anything more that we know about their conditions?
Yeah, Lana, we know 16 at this point are injured. At least 16 people are injured. At least 10 of them appear to have suffered gunshot wounds. So of the 16, they weren't necessarily all gunshot wounds. We know there was some shrapnel, some other ways they could have been injured, but we know at least 10 of them were gunshot wounds. 5 are in critical condition, but we're told they are stable. As we know, this happened at the height of rush hour this morning. So as you can imagine, just those densely packed subway cars, those densely packed subway platforms, as the gunman reportedly just sprayed at random for people going in and out of the trains. The injured victims on board, as we know, the gunman began spraying the car, the subway car, as it was leaving the 26th Street station. Once that subway car arrived at the 34th Street station, the victims on board, were sort of pouring out of the subway cars, began asking and crying and pleading for help. As you can imagine, just a horrifying scene during rush hour this morning.
Mola, do we have any more clarity? I mean, obviously the TikTok of this is still being investigated, but do we have any more clarity on exactly where the shooter was when he started shooting at random? Was he inside the train car or was he standing on the platform shooting into the train car?
So, Tanya, we're told that he was actually a passenger at some point, and it appears that he came off of the train at some point, and from the platform deployed his smoke bomb into the train, creating a sort of diversion, and at that point began spraying people with bullets. Again, that's when the doors closed. The victims who were on board the train kept moving to the next station, and then obviously stopped at the next station where those victims were treated, and then back at the station where the shooting happened, the suspect was obviously able to take off on foot at that point.
Mola, for our audience who are tuning in from around the country, around the globe, can you tell us a little bit more about Sunset Park, Brooklyn, that neighborhood? Who would be on the train at this time? And is there any indication? We do see some people wondering about the motives of this shooter. Is there any indication that this was just a single person, or that he had any other ties to anything else?
Yeah, I mean, as far as who could have been on that train, I mean, this is 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday morning. So you imagine you get a full mix of people, a full mix of New Yorkers who are going to work, commuting, just the full array of the full spectrum of New Yorkers. And we are literally in the heart of Brooklyn here. So I mean, it's as Brooklyn as you can get here in Sunset Park. As far as a motive, Lana, at this point again, no suspect, which makes it hard to have a motive at this point. But police say they are not ruling anything out, whether that's terrorism, whether this was a lone wolf criminal attack. At this point, there don't appear to be any other suspects. They are just looking for one person at this point. But no motive at this point, and they are continuing to search for the suspect. We are told there are some counterterrorism units who are patrolling the areas. There are schools still on lockdown, counterterrorism units, patrolling those areas as well. But really, until they can get a suspect, until they can get a suspect into custody, they're really not going to have the answers to the questions that we're all looking for.
Still so much unknown.
So much unknown, so many questions to be answered. Mola Lenghi in Sunset Park, Brooklyn, at the site of this horrific subway shooting. Thank you so much.